how can you determine how much should you raise in order to launch your startup? And how can you communicate that properly to an investor? So the rule of thumb is this: raise as much as you can when you can. And I say this because what happens is the typical model is you start a company, you raise money from wealthy people. That's the early stage, first round, like an angel investment round. Then a year or two later, you need more money. And so you do the A round, which means that venture capital firms invest a lot in you. Then a year or two later, you do the B round. You raise more money from another venture capital firm. And all that entire process is incredibly distracting because a lot of people that start companies, they work for other people initially and they realize, hey, I'm really good at this, skill X. So I'm going to start a company about skill X and do extraordinarily well. But what they fail to realize is that while they're trying to do skill X, the whole process of raising money is very distracting to them and takes their focus off creating product X. And so you're supposed to raise money every year or two, but if you can raise as much money as you can in 1 or 2 rounds instead of many rounds, then you can focus all of your efforts on skill or product X. So raise as much money as you can when you can. Now, in terms of how do you articulate this to investors? Well, what you have to do is you have to talk about the use of proceeds. And if you take my course called the Complete Business Plan course, it also allows you in that course to not only automatically create a 50 or 100-page business plan, but there's also part of that course which will automatically create for you a 10-page presentation. And on one of those 10 pages or PowerPoint slides, and Wrigley made a lot of amazing templates for you to use in that course, but on one of those slides, you can mention use of proceeds. And you just have to mention what you're going to use the money for that you raised. Okay? And don't worry, it doesn't have to be too detailed because investors know that your business model will change a lot over time. But just generally speaking, talk about what you're going to use the money for. The use of proceeds could be to hire 3 more salespeople, to hire an engineer, to open an office overseas.